today we're on our way to the shop. We're gonna grab that engine that was on the snowblower I repaired, the Yardman, and we're gonna take it back to the house with some tools, and we'll try to rip it apart and see what's going on with it. Well, we're here at the shop. I just came to grab a couple things. What I grabbed is some gloves, some PB Blaster. I grabbed, let's see, out here. I grabbed the engine, some tools. Tina's got a top to wrap it all up in. And we're going to take that back to the house. And I'm going to have to go through this too when it gets warmer. And I got other projects going on, like this here has a carburetor issue. And this here, we don't know, so we're going to work on that. We still got this go-kart, and we got this mini bike, and we got this trike. We're building a lot of stuff. Oh, and this bike too. Forgot about that one. And this just needs a carburetor clean, and that's the engine off the fire bike, so that's a cool one too. But we're going to take that engine to the house, and we're going to get to seeing what's really wrong with it. Well, hey, welcome to Udizzy's. We're at the house now, and I brought the engine here, and I've actually done some investigating so far of where I am right now. So what we'll do is I'll tell you, number one, I called in a pro, VW Nut, and you couldn't hear him because I turned his ass down because he's kind of a loudmouth, but he's cool. So what I'm going to do is take this cover off and find out what's actually banging and clanging in there, because I did open up the valve cover. I pulled the rods out, and both the rods roll across the table nice and smooth. So they're all right. So I put them back. So what we're going to do now is I drain the oil. Now, if you want to see the oil, this has already been drained before, but I mean, this is some really like mocha coffee looking crap that was in it. And we're going to open this up, and the goal is to repair this engine and put it back on the snowblower for that firefighter photographer, Paul. So I would like to get that. So we'll see how far we get today, and enjoy the show. I'm not exactly sure what you guys can see here, but I did take out the bolts here. Let me look at the size for you to tell you what size they were. They were 12 millimeter. That's pretty weird, to be honest with you, 12 millimeter for the engine. And then I think this one was a 10 millimeter was the dipstick. And what you got to do is this dipstick was through the gas tank and bolted on. So you got to take this off before you pull the cover off. So I unscrewed this, and then you have to take half the gas tank apart. This plastic piece, it was actually coming through, you see. So you take these two screws out, Phillips head screws, and this comes off. You take this bolt out, and then pops right out. So once you get that out, you make sure it's all clean, so then you don't have to worry about it when you put it back together. And then I did loosen this. I'm not sure how loose it is, but it was coming off. So you and I can all see together what the hell's in this thing. Ooh, there we go. I'm going to have to order a new gasket set. Well, first inspection, I'm looking at the inside of this, and I don't see no bangs, smashes, any broken parts right here. The bearings are all in there, look good, looks nice. Clean also, very clean. I don't see any bad parts, so we'll set that aside on a tissue so the maid don't yell at us because we're in the house. And I'm looking inside here, and basically I'm just looking it over. I don't see any broken parts in here at all. That I don't see. Well, wow, that's tough. That's a tough one right there, huh? Well, we'll try to free this up and we'll get back with you. Just to let you know, I've progressed. We're cracking the bitch open. We're ripping the head off. So I had to take out 2 brackets from the throttle here. It's just 2 8mm bolts. And then you can just move it out of the way to get this 1 bolt. Once you crack them all, you just remove it. And then I'll turn the camera back on once we get it pulled off of there so we can all look inside. Hey, well, Udizzy solved a big problem in this engine. I need to rip the head off because if you look inside here, I'm not sure you can actually see because I'm a goof. Let me get the thing in here. I think if I put it down in here, maybe if I even turn this up more. Oh yeah, there you go. Can you see inside there? There's a valve just floating around in that. Like the whole valve is broke off inside. Oh, there you go. You can see it on the bottom. You see that? It's like that's the top, the round part of the valve, and the whole stem is just sitting in there on top of the piston. So I'm gonna have to rip this whole head off, the carburetor and all, and we'll clean all this up. We'll take that off. We'll get a new valve in this engine, and we'll put this back together. Udizzy has the power, and I believe we can restore this one. The education. Oh well, we pulled this off. That's what I got there. And to be honest with you, the other side doesn't look bad, but we'll clean that up. We'll wire wheel all that crap off of there. But you see something here? What's that? It's a hole. It looks brown and stuff around like hazy daisies, but he licks them clean like this side. And what we found is this. So that doesn't look too bad inside there. I mean, I'm gonna let that slide, and I'm gonna order a new one of these, and I'm gonna order a gasket for the side, and we are gonna clean all this up and put this back together just like new. And what causes this? I want to tell you what causes this problem here is when someone lets water get inside there and then they try to fire it up. And if you want my opinion, I think the spark plug was left out and water got inside and they just put a spark plug in there and tried to fire it up. And that's what probably happened. That was my guess in the beginning, but I didn't want to say anything until we opened it up and found out. So, but here's the rods. The rods roll perfect. They're great. So I'm not getting new ones of those. I'm just going to probably get a new gasket for this and a new gasket for the side and a new rod set. So, stay tuned. How many of you are going to yell at me? The new valves. Goof. Dizzy. That's a valve. That's not a rod. Just look onto it. It'll tell you. So we're not going to let this engine beat us. I do think I have a donor head at my shop. I do have another one of these engines that was having problems with the carburetor and stuff that I put aside, and I think I will just take that head off of that one and maybe use that one. Only because this is all set up for his snowblower, and I want to get this working and send it back to him just to say that I did it. But it does have a huge hole in it where, you know, that's why you got to inspect everything before you start, you know, ordering parts and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to swap heads from a different engine. It's going to take a little bit longer. So I'm going to get all the bolts for this in a plastic bag and a plastic bin. And we'll have to get that other motor here and work on that one too. We'll swap the heads, and any parts I can save off of this one, I will save off of them. You know, this gasket's probably no good, but the screws off the exhaust are good. You can save some parts off of it. The springs, the keepers, you know, those are good. But the head, trash. So we snuck back here to the Udizzy shop to check out what I have for engines. I have engines everywhere. I have a couple right there, engines down there, down there, down there. But I got a donor engine right here. So this is the engine I'm going to bring back to the shop. I mean, bring back to the house. And we're going to try to get that engine running with this one. So that's that. So this is day 2. This is the donor engine. What I'm going to do is take off the shield, the heat shield, the exhaust, disconnect the throttle from it here, and underneath here there's another bolt like right underneath there. And then we'll get this head off and we'll see if this head's going to work on the other engine. And this engine here still has some oil in it, so I'll be taking the tub here and draining the oil into it. The tools we'll need, I think this is a 8, a 10, a 12, and a 1/2 inch. That's what that is, a 8, a 10, a 12 millimeter, and then a 1/2 inch. You see 3 blue and a red, just so you know. And I'm going to get to this and take these off. We'll get back with you. Eat too much of what?
Eggy bread.
Eggy bread? What the hell is eggy bread?
French toast. Oh, tell him, Brian.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't listen to Hazy Days. He has no idea what eggy bread is. But today, what I'm going to do now is we got my little bucket down here so the maid won't kill me. And I'm going to drain the oil out of this engine. So when I get done with that...
Are we on your video?
Just in case I make a mess. Yeah, you're on the video, so pipe it down, kid. All right?
I'm a real superstar. I'm on a Udizzy video?
We're both on a Udizzy video. Can you believe that?
I can't even believe myself for myself next to myself.
Oh my God. I think you should stick our link in the description.
I think I should run from you guys. You're trying to take over my videos now. Listen.
Oh, yeah. I think we just did.
I think we just did.
I'm telling the folks that I'm taking the oil out of this engine, and when I'm done, and when they're done with their shenanigans, we'll be back. I hope it's working properly. I think I'm draining it. I don't know if you guys can see it. But this one had a little bit of water at the end of it too. So make sure you keep your engines inside. Because if they get water in it and it freezes, no good. The Udizzy will end up with the engines for free, and I'll fix them and give them away. So now what we're going to do is take the 1/2 inch wrench Oh, no, that's not a 1/2-inch wrench. Knock it off. It's a ratchet. We're going to take off the exhaust. I pre-loosened them because I'm cool as frig, you know. But what has to come off, I'm not sure these heads are going to match up at this point, but the only way to find out is to check and try it out, you know. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it's a learning experience. So off with the exhaust like a prom dress. And since this is going to be a donor engine, I'm going to take this come on, baby. Why are you so hard to come off? I'm going to save this gasket. Even though it looks like it had some blow by, it probably just wasn't tight. And I'll put it in the pots bin. And then we'll move on. We got to remove this bracket and then open the hatch and take out the 2 bottom bolts, 2 top bolts, and break this head off of here. So we'll get back with you. Oh, so you tuned in again. What I did was I took the carburetor off so far. I'm going to save that. I took the bracket, the throttle bracket off, just in case another mini bike needs one. I pulled out the 2 rods that hold the carburetor in because the new engine, or the one we're repairing, I left the rods all in to hold everything together. So what I'll do is just screw those rods into this new head. I did inspect this by eye with the other one, and they look like almost identical. So is it gonna work? I don't know, but we're gonna give it a good shot, you know. So what I got left is just the heat shield to take off, and then pull the 4 bolts and pop the head off. So we're gonna get onto that, and I'll get back with you. Well, I forgot to tell you where we've got to here. What I did was I just cracked the head off. It was 4 1/2-inch bolts, 2 on the inside of the valve cover and 2 on the top. I have inspected this. If you look underneath, it does have some cleaning up that needs to be done, but both the valves are in there. Everything looks like they're seating well. So I'm just going to clean this up, and we're going to try to, so if you put it like this, they look exactly the same. So we're going to try to run this one. I'm not sure, but we'll do the best we can. We'll try to get that other engine running. So I'm going to clean this head up the best we can. I'm going to take the rest of what I can off of this engine and put it to a save pile, and then we'll get to putting the engine back together. Well, I brought the newer engine in. It's called the Power More. The Power More, and it's the 208cc overhead valve from the Yardman. I did actually fit the head back onto it. The head is it looks tight as tight. I torqued the 4 head bolts. The spark plugs are Briggs & Stratton. I think I may need another spark plug that's a little bit longer. I'm not sure that's the one for this. I think I just put this in to close the hole. But I do have one at the shop. And I have pulled the thing, and they both seem to go up and down pretty good. Maybe a little tight, I'm not sure, but it seems to, the valve seems to be working. This should be a little loose when that goes down, I think. Oh, is a little slack there. Okay. There's a little slack there. Should be a space, right? Well, I'm going to have to get my guider tools and do that part. But we did get the head replaced. It did fit on there. I do have to go to the shop. I don't have the right exhaust. The exhaust for this I left at the shop. I am putting the old valve cover on this. I'm not going to use the one that was on the donut engine. I'm going to use the original one to the engine. So there's a few more things left. I got to get the right spark plug. I have to get the exhaust that goes back onto this. And it does have some gas in it. So then maybe we'll try to take it outside and fire it up at some point. We did get snow, so it won't be today. But we've come a long way. Thanks for watching. Okay, so just so we have a recap on this, I put the cover back on. I put the carburetor back on. The head's on properly. The heat shield's on properly. I do have to take the case off. I do have to take the face case off, and I'm going to give it a, I know people hate that, but I'm going to give it a little former gasket, and just so I don't have to order a new one. I scraped it all off already, so just going to hit that with a former gasket. I'll go pick up the exhaust. I have one here, but this isn't the one to this one, so I'm not gonna put it on. I'm gonna put the original one back on there, and then we'll take this outside and fire it up in the next video, just to make sure everything works. But I just want to show you that I didn't screw nothing up. Look at that, you know. So, ooh, I just smelled gas going through the carburetor. So, I think this is going to fire up. The difference was the head came off of a Honda 5.5, which is 160 cc. The engine here is a, I'm not sure what it is, 6 horsepower. I think it's 6 horsepower, and it has 208 cc's. Is the head gonna work? I believe so. They looked identical. Everything matched up. It slapped right on there like it was supposed to be. So we'll see. This is gonna need the oil filled up afterwards, some clean gas into it, and then we'll try to fire it up outside on the next video. So thanks for watching, Udizzy. Don't forget to go check out VW Nut and Hazy Days and HO Motorsports, Sunshine Cooper, Tina the Maid. Go check out everybody. Find some people that you don't know. Find some new channels, you know. Get the stuff out there. And thanks for watching, Udizzy.